here is a formula. What is formula? Think about that. That's way beyond the high-level feature net.
Right. No. A formula simply means it has unbound variables.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, in logic, that's what formula is.
I think Professor Sudong let me explain a little bit. Okay. F defined,
Right.
you meant here because in this case, a state associated to a formula, right?
Right.
Right. The plane I define a state. A state is a marking, and a marking there's maybe.
No. State is. All right.
State is a marking.
Right.
That's
A
fine.
state is a
Yeah.
marking. In this one, for instance, we have 1, 0, 0, so forth.
Right.
Okay. And the formula is associated to state in this way. The formula state is the formula of plane, and in this one, assume this is another.
Wait a minute. A formula is a set of states.
No,
No,
because that is
no,
a mistake. What he means
Not like
is not Vu. What you mean is not the formula, but the truth value of this formula, and this is also 0 and 1, and this is why it's a condition event net. He has written the formula as a memorandum, but it doesn't play any role in enabling or not enabling that transition. What does play a role is only true, false.
Yeah.
So
This
he
the
has
token
written it
is true.
so we remember it, but it's only true, false, two states.
I think you're using a different.
That is fine.
What do you mean by formula?
No,
You're
true,
saying,
false
when
is
you,
fine.
when you say
but-
formula, you mean something different than it's meant in logic.
No. It's
No.
look at that. True, false is fine. But if I take that away, I just say I replace with another one, also true, false. Do they have same meaning? This whole diagram has no meaning at all, right? It changes the meaning of everything. If I replace that formula with a different one, I just do with the truth
That's the thing
value.
I say. The formalism is combine petriness and the logic. If you take out the logic,
Right.
there's no sense.
Nothing, right?
Right. Sure.
So that
the thing is the combination
that-
between the logic.
That's
aspect
exactly
and
what I
the
said.
petriness.
This is way beyond the high-level feature net because you have to attach meaning to
No,
it.
because if you have a condition event net,
Right.
you can interpret it in an infinitum of ways.
That-
It's the same condition event net.
That's fine. That's fine. That exactly. But in that case, you only model the process that you are not interpreting,
No.
right? But here you try to say this is the process. See, you look at it. In order to make this a formal definition, what you need to do for each place, you have to have a mapping to a set of formulas.
Exactly.
Exactly. What is that kind of net? That is way beyond the elementary, and that's way beyond
the thing is
high-level feature
The
net.
thing is that
No.
for every place true or false, you need
Basic-
to map to a set of formula.
He's not having this mapping.
Yeah.
If you take a simple, any
Right,
interpretation of a simple condition
Right.
event net, the interpretations are propositions,
Right.
propositions on the places.
Right.
So if the place has a token, that proposition is
Yeah,
true.
sure.
If the token's not there, that
Yeah.
proposition is false.
Right.
Okay, a proposition can contain embedded constants, so that proposition, it's raining, all right, or it's raining in Miami,
That's
or it's
fine.
raining
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Those are all
Yeah,
propositions,
that's fine. That's fine.
right?
Yeah.
But raining X is not a proposition because X is not bound.
Right.
Until X
Right,
is
yeah.
bound, then it becomes a proposition. But when it's bound, it's a simple proposition, so it's just a basic condition event net.
And then the firing of the transition is not affected. Because the transition fires only if the P1 place has a dot in it, which means true. Which means whatever you have written there, it's true. I don't care what you wrote there. If you could have two slides, one with the Petrinet, only P1, T1, T2, and an explanation chart saying that P1 means not me being ready to eat an ice cream, but this formula being true. It's the same Petrinet. Because the firing rule is not affected.
But the
In order
firing
to
rule
be
is
covered,
fine.
the firing rule
The
should be
firing rule is
affected.
fine. See, actually, what I'm seeing here is basically, in some sense, look at it. When you talk about logic basically doesn't have any logic. It doesn't have behavior model, what is true or not. And temporologically, of course, it's different. They look at the idea, the next state.
But these
So-
formulas are not temporal.
Right, this is not temporal, but
So
what
he's
what
trying to
you-
get the temporality from the petrinates.
That's right. You try to order these logic formulas in some way. This is the first, second, the third, So is that's
So in
what I
some
see.
sense,
Right.
this
Yeah.
this petrinet actually
Right.
is simply a state transition diagram.
Right,
Okay?
yeah.
And so what he's modeling here is the different things that are true in different states. That's simple modal logic. All it's doing is saying this is true in this state, this is true in this state, this is true in this state.
Yeah, I can understand this. Basically, the order is fine. Yeah.
And
Almost-
as Anastasia said, these
Yeah.
could be simple text narratives.
Right.
I mean, it happens to be that he's using a logic, but they could be.
Right.
Mary had a little lamb or something like that. You know,
That's
true or
fine.
false.
That's exactly my question. Why it's called Deontic feature maps. That's what that's the question. Yes,
We should say-
that's an issue.
Suppose
Yeah.
I'll suggest alternative terminology.
Right.
It's condition event nets interpreted deontically with deontic notations.
That
Yeah? I mean, it's basic condition event nets
yeah.
with deontic interpretation.
Right.
Okay, so those are not essential part of the meta definition, right? Yeah.
Correct.
So, okay.
So
Well, that's fine.
you,
Yeah.
you
That's
get yourself
good.
into trouble by claiming it's a new kind of thinking.
But-
Don't go there.
Yeah, because I thought you need to map.
We're
these,
using a standard
place
off-the-shelf
to-
Petri
Right,
net,
right.
Okay,
and we're
yeah,
interpreting
that's
it this
fine,
way.
Exactly.
By the way, the
It's just
first
a guessing.
condition event nets,
Right.
Petri wrote it in a recent
Right.
article
Mhm.
this year, were chemical nets, where he modeled, he had the same idea, the nets different, modeling chemical reactions.
Oh,
So-
yeah, you can use it to model anything. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if you need to attach these formula as part of the, notation, then it's not.
Yeah, but in the
Correct.
chemical one, you would have natrium, oxygen, and that.
What did they call them?
And then they combine to form different kinds of.
Yeah.
Chemical name.
So it's the same.
Yeah.
So I say maybe they have the same mistake.
No, that's why it's
Chemical net.
that's why it's called deontic net. Don't call it quickly.
Okay, Deontic net or Deontic interpretation net or something.
Yeah,
like
but see, the formula involves evaluation. Yeah.
If you
Okay.
use terms that seem to claim too much, it gets you into trouble.
Right, yeah. and if
Stay
you
away.
combine
This is an
that-
interpreted.
yeah.
This is an interpreted Petri net.
Yeah.
Interpreted condition event net.
That's exactly, I guess that will get you into next trouble. Next question,
Now,
right?
next question about the interpretation.
No. Now, when you talk about these transactions, right, it makes sense to have time. For example, up to these this month,
okay.
and this will be under that. After this month, so forget about that. I'm not going to ask for. So that's what I'm saying. When you say this net, then it seems to be you have to have a time concept, right?
In particular for deadlines.
Not necessarily deadlines. Deadline. Yeah.
Contracts have deadlines all over the
Yeah,
place.
basically, yeah.
You know,
You can
the
say.
scope of obligation
Yeah,
is-
for example, if you sell her whatever time, then you buy her, you need to
You have to
pay.
pay by-
Right, yeah, if you don't do that. So if you claim, I guess if you don't claim that, I guess I probably don't. Because when you say Deontic net, I'm saying, do you have to consider time? If you want to model the process.
Right, actually
Yeah.
here I consider time in the sense of a sequence of activity rather than absolute time.
But if it's not absolute time, then it's not very useful. It's
No,
you
just
can do
saying order.
You can do by that an event.
I agree with this, that obligations, if I'm obligated to pay you $100 sometime,
Yes.
I mean, that's essentially an empty obligation, because I could, there's
Right.
no way I will ever violate it.
Yes, yeah.
It only makes sense if I put a deadline on it. Obligations entail deadlines.
Yes, sir.
And the point I think that both of these people are going to be raising is that timed Petri nets
Right.
Timed Petri nets lose some of the formal verification properties. So implicitly, you do have a timed Petri net. However, you said early on that your usage of the Petri net is not for the formal properties of the Petri net.